Now you're going to have another session with 4 wonderful people. We're going to change topics to innovation in energy tech, but growth strategies and scalability challenges, okay? For this, you're going to have 4 fantastic people here, starting with Mr. Franz Zöchbauer, the Managing Director of VERBUND X Ventures. Round of applause, please. Christian Adelsberger, founder and CEO at NECTURE. Welcome, sir. Terhi Johanna Vapola, founder and managing partner at Greencode Ventures. Welcome. And in 1 second, Mr. Lars Hennersdorf, investment manager at Smart Energy Innovation Fund. That's up to you guys. Take it from here. Enjoy.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you very much for the introduction. Good morning, everyone. My name is Christian Adelsberger. I'm founder and CEO of NECTURE. So what we've thought about is what would potentially add value to this audience in terms of interested topics. And we have an interesting constellation here in terms of startup, corporate VC, so it's a little bit of a nice mix. And we thought giving you a little bit of insights into our very personal experiences and what growth strategies can be and what worked, and also what are the prohibiting factors for scale, is something that we want to share from a very personal experience point of view. So I'm very happy today to be on stage with some trusted partners and friends. First of all, I'd like to start with an introduction so you know whom you're dealing with and who's talking about. So I'd like to start with you, Terhi.
Okay. Can you hear me all right? Now I think it works.
Yes.
So my name is Terhi Vapola. I come from Finland and one of the founders of Greencode Ventures. So Greencode Ventures is the new VC fund focusing on exactly this field, and we look at it from the lens of bringing digital solutions so that we could be able to scale fast solutions into the pressing problems what we have in the world.
Yeah, hello. Hello? Yeah. Hello together. My name is Lars from the Smart Energy Innovation Fund from Energy 360 in Zurich. We are the venture arm of this company, and we are the one who invests in sustainable startup business models, who helps us in transforming our own process, and we also are invested in NECTURE.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. I'm Franz Zöchbauer from VERBUND Ventures. VERBUND Ventures is the CVC unit of VERBUND, the leading Austrian energy company and one of the leading energy companies, renewable energy companies in Europe. VERBUND Ventures is quite a new CVC unit. We are focusing on investments with impact, so really impacts in accelerating the energy transition, and also with impacts as an investor, so that we really help scaling the companies we're investing in. We have done so far 3 investments. Our target is to build up a portfolio of 15 investments in the next 3 years. And hopefully, in the next 3 to 4 weeks, we're able to announce a couple of more investments.
Wonderful, thank you. And last but not least, NECTURE. We are accelerating the EV transition of fleets. So we believe that the speed of developments is not fast enough to slow down the pace of climate crisis, and we see it as our responsibility to contribute that. And we started off working with car-sharing companies all across the world, optimizing the position of those vehicles in terms of demand, and got into a situation where more and more EVs were onboarded, and we're now talking about 50% of all those vehicles are EVs. And with that, we've learned basically all the challenges that large fleets have with that transition, and that's now what we're extending towards the business fleets world. We operate all across Europe in over 17 cities, South America, North America, so we have a global footprint as a company, and have over 15,000 vehicles under management. I'd like to start with first question on growth strategies. And I mean, this shouldn't be a university lecture in what is out there, but what have you seen personally work at what caught your attention or surprised you or even led to a very specific investment? Who wants to give it a try?
Yeah, I can start. And I like to share some two examples. One I like to call service and speed as a service success growth strategy, and the second one, marriage growth strategy. The first one, it's about a company who really, it's a digital platform offering immediate value to the customers or the partners working with. And also the possibilities, if a customer or a partner wants to have this platform, it's possible to deploy it within weeks anywhere on the globe. That was really quite impressive for us, and that was also the reason why we invested in this company. And by the way, that's NECTURE. So the company was founded by Christian, because we have never seen before really a company that can be globally quite successful, and within weeks implementing the product anywhere. The second one, I call it marriage strategy. And I like to refer to the history. Many of you know the Habsburg monarchy, and they had in former times the growth strategies. Other nations are doing wars, we doing marriages in order to expand our territory, our growth. And if you, and we have seen a company, two companies in the field of monitoring system for wind turbines. One company having really a low cost entry product, and another company a high-end, very expensive product. And these two companies merged and really have now a separate offer to the customers. And that's a kind of growth strategy that's also quite convincing to us, having a first really cheap product that the customer can fall in love and then get addicted to it, and then have a long-term relationship with the customer.
So I think there is no one growth strategy which would work for everybody. So it's always dependent on the industry and the company and what they want to achieve. So I think it's hard to generalize. But if you think about first the basics, so obviously in order to scale, you need to have a very good product market fit. I'm an engineer, so I always love the products and the companies who have something which is so valuable for the customer that they can't be without it. So you need to start from that perspective, that product market fit is so good. You've honed it in your maybe home market or some certain segment where you get that kind of into the right level. And only then it makes sense to start scaling. And when you start scaling, so I think you need to make choices. So I think one of the most important things for a startup is that you are very limited in terms of resources. So looking at what you want to do really well and focus on that. So it could be that you penetrate certain large market as good as you can, take the references, build on that, and have the playbook on that. Or it could be looking at scaling into adjacent markets, or scaling into another geographic markets, or it could be through the partnership strategies, or it could be even going into more scale so that you start to consolidate the market. One of the kind of but then at the end, I think the key thing is that it is all those little things which matter. So maybe an example from my previous portfolio, so a company named Virta, which is a EV charging platform company, now getting closer to 100 million in terms of revenue, has been one of the Financial Times growth companies of the year list for, I don't know, maybe 5 years or so, and chosen as one of the, or actually the number one growth company in Finland last year in the Venture Capital Association. And I think what really made a difference so that it really started scaling was the focus. So bringing, there were a lot of things where you try to do too broad, too many things at the same time. It's very expensive, and then also you're spreading your resources thin, so you're always having backlog, or you are always having not sufficient attention. So when you do the focus, and I think also these little things bringing out top-notch, the very best people, and especially in sales, so that you bring these cadences, so you bring the capabilities to that process, which are systematic. Only the best will go, and also listen to the customer and provide those solutions for them. So it's many times it's not like it's a big strategy work, but it's about kind of doing the things what you do really, really well and focusing on that.
Yeah, thank you for all the good input, because I just can add now some points from my side. So yeah, we see a big challenge in young startups, mostly, yeah, in the founder team. Yeah, so quite similar as you explained before. I think it is very, very important that we see a founder team who has to be always the core focus on his business engagement in the market, because the market is always changing, driven by many, many external factors. And when a startup and his founders team, or the team in general, can show us to keep the focus on the business model, that really, really helps. And very often I don't see that. The one point. The other point is that we will always have to work together. So that means we also will have many, many board sessions over the year. And it always helps really to have fruitful discussions in the sport. Yeah? So that means we all have to be open. We should also be able to give advice and input from our perspective, despite that in the end, the founder is the expert in his business. But there needs to be a very, very fruitful and open discussion level. And I think when we have that kind of collaboration, mostly it works, but sometimes it doesn't. And that's why I think the collaboration and the trust to the founders team is mostly the most important thing, what has to be given before some challenges are coming.
Well, thank you very much for sharing your thoughts on this, and I found it really inspiring because it reflects so well to my thinking from, let's say, the other side. Talking about our very personal, let's say, growth strategy, we kind of stumbled upon it because the very first customer that we won was in Seattle, so 10,000 kilometers away, for a 10-people company, right? And all the investors told us, oh no, you don't want to do that, and you want to stay away from that, it's too far away. But what happened is that we had to think about ways how to build the product and deploy the product in a way fully digital, without the need that we ever have to go to this place, right? It also led to the situation that we used a lot of data sources, or more data sources than usual, because we didn't have any local knowledge and know-how, right? So we had to overcome that point. And then this led to a situation where we built, where we created a blueprint to rolling out pretty much wherever in the world. Wherever there's a fleet in need and pain, on a worldwide scale, we can go there within a super short period of time. And this is now for us a huge competitive advantage in this market, and created a super flexible organization. So pretty much reflects to what you mentioned there. Also, I want to address one point that's been brought up in terms of obstacles towards scale. And I'm a bit embarrassed to talk about it, but Terhi, what you said about product market fit, oh my gosh, we personally had a very similar experience where I decided to scale way too early. And it's not that it's clear, right? You have to have product market fit and then you scale. But we truly believed we had product market fit. And the team was so confident about it. And we ignored a lot of signals that were there and live, but we were so focused on, let's say, getting it through that it made us a little bit blindsided on this one. And this is where I think where contribution from the investors, from CVC side, and the board is so extremely helpful, because you need let's say, a trustworthy relationship to enable hard feedback, right? Because that hard feedback sometimes will be the eye-opener in terms of enabling yourself. But then, of course, from a founder perspective, you need the openness to take that feedback. So that is also a question how that feedback is delivered, right? But if you have the clear feeling with your partners that you're going for the same goal, creating a successful company, then this is something that can help a lot of companies, a lot of startups out there to not fall into the same trap as we did. Yeah. What other prohibitors or obstacles towards scale have you been aware of that you've seen recently?
What are other obstacles? Yeah, I completely align with what you mentioned. So it's the focus and execution excellence. That's important. And it could be also a challenge if you're too successful. For example, with one of your main customers and then have a too high concentration rates, and then you have to recognize you're successful, quite successful, but maybe if this one customer makes another decision, another move, you're really at a big danger. So really to overcome also early successes to broaden your customer base. I think that's also one big challenge for early stage startups.
Yeah, I can reflect on that because I've seen a lot of companies with great product turn into project companies at the end of the day because they would follow that one big customer so much that at the end of the day they weren't able to scale because they were a project company. Yeah.
Also, how do you have this kind of a playbook? So many times in our industry, sales processes are quite long. So how do you have that shortened up? What are the capabilities to do so? And also maybe play two fields at the same time. Mm-hmm. So you have the big customers who are super important, but you have certain other segment of customers who could turn quicker so that you can kind of work on long game and short game at the same time so that you can use that as an advantage.
Yeah, when I look to our portfolio, mostly the most cases, what I see is that startups are struggling with a core sales focus. What means, I mean, as you already mentioned, the product market fit is given, and we believe in that. But very often we see that startups really lose their focus on the sales side, and obviously that is one of the most difficult points in this relation because I mean, if you don't have any good people in your team who can help us to sell the product, how can you grow, right? So that's why I think the sales strategy and the sales team is very important and quite really difficult to find the right people there.
Okay, wonderful. So from an investor's perspective, what have you learned is beside what may be written on the website in terms of contribution to the startup, right? But what have you learned is what really can make a difference from your point of view or made a difference in the past already in terms of contribution from you as an investor to what the startup does?
When we had our first portfolio day last December, we asked exactly these questions to our investments, and the clear answer was opening doors. Yeah? Maybe for a big corporate or established CVC, it's quite easy to connect people, to connect organizations, and that's I think the biggest possibility to really support easily our startup investments. That's on the one hand side. So connecting and sharing insights. Not only from VERBUND Venture, but we have also about 4,000 people within VERBUND having deep knowledge in the energy sector. Really to sharing these insights into our portfolio companies could be of big value, I think.
Terhi.
I think one of the kind of messages to startups in the audience is that be clear on what you're looking for. So VCs and investors, we are all a little different. We have specialities where we are good and where we are not that strong or we are average. So kind of knowing what you really need. So what are those areas you want to have contribution for? So for example, out of our first investment in this fund was a company called Supercritical. And they had already Lightspeed Venture Partners as the lead. And they were looking for a climate tech fund to invest together. And they were very clear. They wanted somebody who understands carbon removal technologies and somebody who understands the regulation related to that. And then they were looking at all the different climate tech funds from that perspective and with that lens. And then as much as we, ask about questions on them, they were asking questions about us. And then at the end, I think that was something which I would give as a message. So know what you want, then you can find what you need.
Yeah, same with us. I think we invest also in startups because we want to learn from these startups. Also for our own organization, And what I have learned in the past is that the factor to convince their own team to support this product or idea from the startup also in the internal structure is sometimes challenging. It works, but it has to be very, very good prepared, also from the side of the investment team or the project managers who has to integrate some business models into our organization. This is not a quick one, right? So that needs to be time, that needs to have a lot of engagement of all involved people. And sometimes this is also challenging then, again, for the startup, because we say that to them, please be focused on your business, and we want to distract them from his business because of our own integration efforts. So it's a balance between doing the right things, right? So that's why I think that needs also in the future a lot of learnings.
Wonderful. Well, Terhi, Franz, and Lars, thank you very much for sharing your insights. It's been an inspiring discussion for me. I hope the same for you. And with that, closing this session, thank you very much for your attention.